Hello, friends. I'm Princess Rosa, and it's been quite a while. And I just want to update you all in my current situation in case anyone was wondering where I was, since I've been pretty MIA on social media until recently. And look, long story short, life's been rough. 2022 was one of the weirdest years of my life. I had a lot of amazing stuff happening, like the Monster High video getting a lot of traction. I got to travel a lot. I made a lot of new friends, and I reconnected with a bunch of old ones. And I finally got into the right medication for my ADHD and anxiety. And to do that, I lost my fear of driving, which is awesome. But also, I've been through a lot. In case you don't know, last year I lost my mom. And it was something that was pretty hard on everyone, including my extended family. My mom was the oldest out of 7 siblings, and there was no moment where she wasn't trying to look out for everyone in the family. And a lot of my cousins thought of her as a second mother, and yeah, the loss was pretty hard on everyone. This is something that I never thought I would go through in my 20s. I definitely thought something like that was gonna happen when I was like an older adult, and it was really sudden and unexpected for everyone. And unfortunately, I didn't deal with it in a healthy way at the beginning. I've always seen myself as the support. I try to be there for everyone, I try to listen to everyone and put everyone's needs above mine. And when something happens to me, I tell people that they don't need to worry because I can deal with stuff on my own. And I am used to suppressing my emotions in order to let others express theirs, which I know it sounds really self aware, but the reason is that I am going through therapy right now and I wasn't aware of these things months ago, and now I am. And now I know that that is a terrible thing to do because basically I'm bottling up everything until my breaking point. I was so focused on making sure my family was doing alright that I completely forgot about myself. And this is where I began burying myself in my art and my work in order to not think about my emotions. And there was one person who was good at noticing when I was doing this kind of stuff, and that was my mom. So, with her gone, no one was noticing what I was going through and that I was trying not to process my grief. And I reached my breaking point slightly after posting my Monster High video. And look, I don't want to go into too much detail about it because I think of this as a personal matter, but right after that video went up, I went on a family trip, and basically the person that I was staying with told me that my mom would be really disappointed of me right now just because I was doing something that they, not my mother, didn't like. And I got so mad. I remember crying and venting to my family about it, who were also upset about the whole deal. And since I was staying with someone else at the time, I wouldn't even leave my room because I didn't want to see them. I was staying inside the room I was staying at unless I really needed to go out. And at the same time, my Monster High video was blowing up, and I was happy, but I was also scared, and I was missing my mom, and I was just dealing with too many emotions at the same time. That when the trip was over and we were heading back home, I was dealing with a horrible depressive episode. So, a little bit after I began feeling better, I decided to take a break from social media. Well, more like a soft break, basically not make social media my main focus for a while, and I began working on myself. I was already in therapy, but I decided to book more frequent appointments. And with the advice of my psychologist, I began seeing a nutritionist and going to the gym because I was really neglecting my body during this time. I was not taking care of myself at all. And around November, I began feeling like myself again. And I began to feel happy with my life. I began feeling like I was ready to go back on social media. I even began working on the second part of the Monster High video properly. But then in December, out of the blue, my aunt passed away. She was my mom's youngest sister. She died from a heart attack just like my mom, and that was also a lot to deal with. I can't imagine how it felt for everyone. It felt terrible to me, but also I cannot imagine how it felt for my aunts and my uncles to lose both their oldest and youngest sisters in the same year. I cannot imagine how they must have felt, especially since she passed away so near Christmas. And I don't know if this was my body's way to respond to everything that I was dealing with or it was just the season, but every other week after that, I got really sick. Like at some point, I got a horrible case of influenza and it was so bad I couldn't even leave my bed due to how sick I was feeling. And It was a lot. I remember being really frustrated that week because that was the week that I began seeing a psychiatrist for my ADHD, also under my psychologist's recommendation, and I was supposed to start my medication, but I couldn't do it due to all the medicine I was already taking for my influenza. And obviously, because of the flu, I couldn't go to the gym or eat what my nutritionist recommended because my body decided it didn't want to process anything anymore. I couldn't stomach food without throwing up, and that directly affected my mental health in a bunch of different ways because it felt like the progress I was making on myself was completely lost. So I was having really conflicting emotions about my mental health, my physical health, and my self-esteem for that matter. It's funny because at the same time, I remember crying tears of happiness when I was able to handle solid food again and getting a double cheeseburger because my body was just begging for something to be in its stomach after just such a long period of only eating like soup. And if I'm being honest with you, it's been kind of hard to get back into my old habits that I created last year. Like just now, I managed to get back on track for the gym. I need to start seeing my nutritionist again, but at this point, I don't want to push myself, so I'm thinking baby steps. Another thing that the current events have not allowed me to focus on it is art. Aside from commissions and a sign that I'm currently participating in, I haven't really drawn that much. See, I am someone who uses art as an escapism. And talking with my therapist, I came to the realization that I was using it as a way to not cope with my emotions, and that wasn't healthy at all. There was a lot of things that I needed to process, and isolating myself in my room to draw instead of dealing with my feelings was not going to help me. So aside from paid work, I took a break from art since I needed to grieve, and you know what? I'm happy I did. Because I felt, aside from my escapism, that I was only drawing for the likes and, for people to see it and not because I liked it. And finally, a few weeks ago, it finally began to feel like I was enjoying drawing again. And I don't know, it was a feeling that I was craving since September, since May. I still need time to focus on myself. I need to learn to take care of myself again. I still have to deal with the loss of my mom and my aunt. I miss them so much. And there's a lot of things that I gotta process. A lot of new things that I have to get used to. I am lucky to have my family and friends to support me. I know that that's for a lot of people that's even a privilege, but I am so thankful that even though I've been a mess these past few months, they never let me go. And no matter how hard I tried to push everyone away, they were still there for me. And if I'm being honest, I don't know what I would have done without them. And I want to thank you all for being so patient with me because God, I owe you guys that Monster High video, but also I wasn't able to concentrate in anything Monster High related or internet related for that matter with everything. So thanks for being so kind and understanding with me. And I want to guess that's all for this update. I want to thank you for listening to my rambles. I promise that when I feel better, I'll work on more interesting videos than just updates. I just need some time, okay? Just know that I am getting better little by little. I'm feeling way better now, and I am in a much better place than in September. I am Princess Rosa, and I'll see you next time.